What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. It is the 20th day of August, and here we are sitting at about $114,000 right now. 4 hours, 23 minutes left in the day. Safe to say, I think that we have found the low, right? $112.3 thousand. That was a little bit lower. Let's see, that's probably like $800 than what I originally called for the low to be. Maybe not originally, but what we ultimately called for the low to be. Originally up here we were thinking 114.4 would be the lowest price that we go to, but as we got lower, we were, looking at the liquidation levels. We were definitely open to seeing lower prices. I do want to say before we get into it too much, I do want to say that it is still possible, and we are still early in calling this the low. It is possible that we could go lower. We are early in calling this the low. Okay, looking at this on the liquidation levels here over the past day, the past 24 hours. The longs have now outdone the shorts. Now, there are a lot of shorts. We look at the past 7 days especially. There are a ton of shorts still piled on, but we have piled on quite a bit of longs over the past day. I mean, since like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there hasn't been more than $1.5 billion in longs piled on. Now there's $2.5 billion piled on in longs. A lot more shorts, absolutely a lot more shorts, or no. I mean, a lot more shorts, not today, but over the past week. And here we do have a massive wall, to clear out at about 116.2K. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit of volatility. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some price come back. But do we go lower than this low? I'm not so sure. Let's look at the short-term stuff and see if we can divulge more information. Right. For right now, I'm taking the stance that we have found the low, and that we do not go lower. With that being said, if we go lower, who cares? It's not a big deal. Volume coming in down here, volume dying off as we're hitting the low, volume coming in at this next low where you should break out and go lower, but you didn't, you reversed. All good things. All to me looks like, you found a double bottom, and that's exactly where you would what you'd want to do if you are finding a low. Looking at this on an RSI perspective, the RSI does have higher lows and a flat top of highs. That's nice to see. You're kind of in an area that would make sense to come down a little bit, but then come back up. So come down a little bit, clear out some longs, pile on some shorts. Nothing too crazy though on the 1 hour. I mean, we're going to go to like 113.1. We're at 113.9 right now. Let's look at this with some other indicators on it. Stochastics looking good. MACD looks like it wants to cross up, actually. So I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, today's what? Today's Thursday? Is today Thursday? Today's Wednesday. I wouldn't be surprised if over the next 2 days we started to move up more. Yeah, we started to see some very eruptive price action to the upside there. MACD looks like it wants to cross on the 4 hours. Stochastics are looking bullish. Yes, this is good. Even if they're bearish, even if they prevail bearish and we come back down, we would at least come up a little bit from here. And what would that imply? I mean, if we're looking at this from a high to a low here, I mean, I would think that we at least, if we were to go lower, I would think at least that we'd go back to about 116.8K, which makes a lot of sense because from an overall low to high here, you went right through your 886. You went right through your golden ratio down here. You don't typically do that without some kind of significant retracement back to at least your golden ratio, which is at 116.5K, 116.8K there. I bet you go higher, man. 118, 119, and by that time, man, it's starting to look like this really is the low. Pile on some longs, clear them out, see some volatility on our way up, and then boom, we'll blast right through the roof. We'll see, or is this going to be a bull trap and then we come lower? I don't think that. I'm just, offering both perspectives there. We look at the RSI. The RSI does have bullish divergence to finish off here. We had a nice downtrend, lower lows, lower highs, finishing off with bullish divergence. Very classic way to end a downtrend. Typically with downtrends, whenever you end them, you do one of two things. Either immediately you go into forming an uptrend of sorts, whatever, higher highs, higher lows, or you do this kind of sideways chop, and then inevitably that sideways chop turns into an uptrend, which might imply that we see more of a pump next week rather than this week. But either way, I think that things are looking like we're definitely turning around here. I mean, we're at the bottom. We're at the lows of the range, right? You got a higher low. You could have gone lower, but you didn't. Why didn't you? Probably because there's just not enough selling pressure and there's too much demand, right? A little bit of this, a little bit of that. I mean, that was a nice wick down there, right? That was your attempt. You had some volume come in. That was your attempt, and you couldn't do it. You're actually up here now. So, 18 minutes left. I like this. I definitely like this look. I would be surprised at this point in time if we went, if we went a little bit below there, okay. But if we went like below 112K, maybe I should say like below 100 and below this low, I would be pretty surprised at this point. But again, putting it on the radar, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. We could be in some kind of environment where we see a flash crash take place. You literally you wake up, You open your eyes for a brief minute, you see the price, you're like, wait, is it at $108,000? What the hell? And then you close your computer or your phone, you lock your phone because you're upset, and then 2 hours later you look at it and it's back where it was or even higher. You know what I mean? We might see some kind of flash crash shakeout. That could happen, and oftentimes enough that does happen before we really start to rally, and I think we really are about to start to rally. It doesn't need to happen. I'm not calling for that to happen. I'm just saying if it happens, don't crap your pants. Don't make a bad mistake, okay? Keep it clean, keep it safe, sit on your hands, okay? Don't make any irrational decisions, because any kind of lower price from here, if it happens, no matter how intense it is, it could be super intense. It could be more intense than I'm making it out to be. It's going to be short-lived. Might be intense, but it's going to be short-lived. It might not be intense at all. That might have been it. That really could have been it right there. And then boom, now we move higher. But ultimately, yes, looking like we're at the low. If we're not at the low on a price perspective, we're at the low on a time perspective, very, very near the low from a time perspective. And I would assume that we start to move up. The RSI is in the same area that it was the last like 4 times, 5 times that we bounced. Stochastics are looking good, like they want to bounce here. And the MACD is right at the 0 as well, which is a nice area to bounce from right here at the, what do I mean by it's at the 0? I mean the oscillators are down here at the 0. Bounced off of this, bounced off of that last time. You've even bounced in this area before. Bouncing here is pretty damn normal for the MACD, so do it. Keep on moving up. I like the day so far. Just keep on doing it. Wednesday, this is pretty neutral price action. Maybe we have some bullish stuff coming in through the rest of the week, but hopefully we get some negative news pieces, because if we get that'll likely send us through the stratosphere. Anyways, high here. Nope, that was not the high. High here to low on April 7th. Consolidating above the 1272. I actually can't tell you how bullish this structure is, right? We're doing the same thing here with our overall like this overall consolidation phase with the last cycle's high to low, and look at what it brought us. It brought us to higher prices, right? Here, this is a bit of a shorter time frame. We've been down here, but I very much do think, finding support at prior resistance, double bottom right there, getting a higher low and higher highs, I would think that we are running all the way up to about 140K, and we could very well be there by the end of the month, if not certainly the first week of September. 114K now, you're going to blink and this thing's going to be at 140K. So just have patience, have faith, buy the dip if it comes, hold it if you got nothing to buy it with, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hit the like button, subscribe, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.